You're listening to the Cruise Tips TV Unplugged podcast. Today, we have a special guest on the show. Maggie Rich is a Florida-based licensed mental health counselor. She helps people tackle life's biggest struggles, and she happens to think that cruise travel is a powerful mental health tool. Today, Maggie and I are going to chat about travel anxiety, the 5 love languages and how they relate to travel, and lots more. Welcome to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. I'm your host, Sherry, and we invite you to join our cruise-loving family as we travel the world creating cruise videos and vlogs. In this podcast, we talk tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make every cruise your dream cruise. Maggie, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Sherry. I am so excited to be here with you. I cannot wait to talk about my favorite thing in this world, which is our mental health.
I love it. And cruising too. Let's be honest, right?
And cruising too.
Cruising. So most of you probably heard my intro just a few moments ago, but just to back up a little bit, Maggie and I have been chatting for months and months behind the scenes about a topic that she felt was important. She's like, Sherry, someday you and I need to chat about the mental health benefits of cruising because this is a thing. And so today we decided that we were just going to record our conversation, friend to friend, because Maggie has this thing that she calls the power of the high seas. And this is an important time to bring this topic up because some of you may know that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to go ahead and devote a podcast to this. So I want to start off by Maggie, maybe tell us a little bit about your first cruise, your cruise history, and why this topic is so meaningful to you.
I would love to. You know what? I think it all started with cruising to me was to invest in my own mental health. I think that it is the best way to completely unplug from our daily life. And you're kind of forced to in the middle of the seas, let's be real. And sometimes we need that little extra nudge to really just soak into life and be more mindful, be more present. So my first cruise was probably about 10 years ago. My now wife, she is a big cruiser, and she said, we got to do it. I got to show you what cruising's all about. And I was like, because I grew up in Chicago. We don't have cruise ports there. But I get to have the luxury of living in Tampa, Florida, where they are at a plethora. And I was instantly hooked. Hooked.
What was your first cruise ship?
That's a really good question, Sherry. It was some Royal Caribbean.
Like a little Royal Caribbean ship out of Tampa?
Yeah. You know what? It was out of, it was out of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of Miami because we'd get a little more options over there on the east coast of Florida.
Yeah.
Some destinations.
Definitely. That's cool. So you fell in love with it. You were hooked. You fell hook, line, and sinker.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think just after that, I just think it's just the best value for a vacation. And you can do really anything your mind could think of on boats.
Yeah. So when you went on your first cruise, were you surprised at how much you could kind of disconnect? And you briefly mentioned a moment ago, you kind of have to disconnect when you're on a ship.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that happened for you?
Mm-hmm. I love how you asked me that because yes, I was very caught off guard.
Yeah.
I went to call my mom as we were leaving, and I was just like, wait a second. There's no signal. What happened? And I'm like, something's not right. And then, everyone was like, well, this is what happens. You better just put it in airplane mode and put it in your safe. And it really didn't comprehend with me. But ask me after I was leaving that ship, and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't use phones on there.
Yeah. So you fast forward 10 years, I think, unfortunately, connectivity options are better, and a lot of us are plugging in more. When you travel, are you still able to disconnect a bit?
Yeah, you know what, Sherry, I still do. I vow that I will never buy the Wi-Fi package.
Oh, wow.
I put all my emergency situations into place. My pet sitter has an emergency vet number.
Yeah.
So truly, no one would really need to get a hold of me. And I set it up that way on purpose, wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I think there's some value to that. And I wonder if that could be a strategy in and of itself, for people who really are, going through life and they're experiencing a lot of anxiety and stress and having a hard time having those down moments of just really unplugging could be good. I want to start by talking a little bit about travel anxiety. So I know that
Okay.
you probably come across this a bit in your practice, but why do some people experience travel anxiety? Like I do to a small level. I have the check for your passport 750,000 times before you get to the airport syndrome. And it's
Yes.
really bad. Like I'll even reach over in my car. I'll be driving in my car. I will stick my hand in my purse to feel for it, and that weird kind of behavior sort of permeates through my days leading up to. But why do some people have that happen, and what can we do to at least try to cope with travel anxiety?
Well, I think that overall, people put a lot of pressure to just have the best possible vacation they can.
Mm,
And I've been listening to your podcast for years and years and years. You have talked about this over and over about how we have X amount of vacation days a year. We spend X amount of money on this. We want the best value, but people lean too hard into that, I think.
that makes
you
sense.
know and I think I since I live in Florida here, I have a lot of friends that work at Disney, and I hear about this all the time. It's just the expense and the traveling, and
Hmm.
Disney is international, so it's a lot of pressure. But cruising, people come in from out of town, they fly. And I think all in all, anxiety comes with big stressful situations.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I think that they might, it could be setting expectations, it could be forgetfulness of what to pack. So there's just so many little things underneath the big umbrella of travel anxiety.
Yeah. That's so interesting though that you say that. So you think though that at its core it's kind of rooted in maybe wanting it to be perfect, wanting it to be
Yes,
right.
good
Okay.
word.
Yeah. Interesting. I never really thought about that. I'm sort of processing that as you say it because I think it's important what and maybe asking. So how do you cope with this? Like what are some steps we can take if we're reaching over and sticking our hand in our purse, or maybe you're traveling with kids and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to keep it all together, or the anxiety creeps up. What would you tell people?
Well, you know what? I would tell people that no matter what you do, you're going to have a great time. I mean, I mean, here's my thing. Some things are going to go wrong.
Mhm.
That is just what we deal with. That's life. There will be little hiccups. There will be, you might forget a curling iron. You may forget, one of your left shoe. You know, life it will have to go on. And I think
Mhm.
that the more that you dwell on that thing, the more you're wasting from this beautiful view out your window.
Mm.
So
Wow.
I think some good coping techniques, what I would kind of lean into with that is being just more mindful. So just living in that moment of time. And what I always like to do with clients is I teach them, let's call out our emotions. Let's call it like it is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, I'm feeling anxious right now. Giving a name to it. Because when we call things out, it's almost kind of like they dissipate a little bit.
Wow. Got it. And then what?
Well, good question, because you're right.
Yeah.
Once we
Depends.
call it out, it's
Mhm.
there. It's in our
Mhm.
face, right?
Mhm.
So a couple things. I like to use a really cool technique with anxiety. It's kind of in my anxiety little starter pack that I like to help with clients that come into with anxiety, and it's called thought replacement. So, for example, I know we were chatting about this a little bit earlier, and I want to restate. So, for example, let's say I'm thinking about maybe when an excursion got overbooked and you weren't really planning on that. And now you are kind of scrambling. You've got to pick another one. It's not, maybe you picked four wheeling and now it's going to turn into traveling through the city, with some wine tasting or food. Two completely
Yeah.
different things. You could dwell and you could say to yourself, the thought is, oh my gosh, this day is going to just be the worst because we weren't doing what we wanted to do. We're not going to be in the sun.
Yeah.
So we're changing that thought into something a little more realistic and positive. Okay. Even though we couldn't experience four-wheeling and being in the beautiful sun, we're still on this vacation. We're still going to eat good today. We're still going to share laughs, and we are going to see the sun at one point or the other. So I think using that thought replacement, it brings your thoughts with somewhere for them to go, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
I love that. So I'm going to recap sort of what you said. In the beginning, when you're starting to feel it, it's okay to acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling anxiety. Try to become present. You did mention that. And then try to replace those thoughts with other thoughts, the reality of what may happen instead of the worst case scenario of where the anxiety is taking you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. I think that a big thing is just calling it for what it is.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
being okay with that. We're
Mm-hmm.
scared of anxiety. The word itself means
Sure.
nervous and scared. But when we give a name to something, it takes away its power, if
Isn't
that
that
makes sense.
interesting? Yeah, like you said, it makes it dissipate. And I can see how that would happen when you acknowledge what's happening. Maybe you're on a flight and you're sitting there and takeoff is happening and you have that flight anxiety. It starts to creep up on you and you're holding the person's hand next to you just by saying, I'm feeling really anxious right now, allows you to kind of
Exactly.
let
That was
it
a really
go.
good example.
Okay.
Yes. And I've been there, done that.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I feel the same way. I think my flight anxiety is getting better, but I've been around that block a few times too. And I think it has to do with a lot of things. Maybe, if you were someone who lived through 9/11, you may have a little bit more of a keen awareness of that. Or maybe you just, and we are kind of, as we age, I think we get in touch with our mortality a little more too. And you start thinking
Sure.
about what would happen. I was on this flight by myself and the plane went down and leave everybody behind. And you start I don't know how you say catastrophe. You know what I'm trying.
Catastrophizing.
Yeah,
I
something
know
like that.
exactly
Some
what
big
you mean.
word.
And
Uh,
Sherry, that would be a great, right there, that thought
yeah,
would be a good place to say, oh, I'm anxious again. Oh, I'm doing that thing
doing it
again.
again. Yeah,
Yes. Just calling it
yeah.
like it is. And you
Call
know
it like it
what?
is.
Odds are the the person next to you that you grab their hand and say, I'm anxious, the odds are they're going to look back at you and say, so am I. And that
Oh,
validity just makes everything feel a little bit better because you're not alone.
yeah. Then you realize you're not alone. I love that.
Absolutely. You wouldn't believe how many little side combos I've had in the cruise line,
Yeah.
as you're embarking and that long line you're in, and like just having small talk with the other people. Oh my goodness, it's taking a little longer today. Or,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I wonder how long the luggage is going to be. And just having that community and that connection
Yeah.
is so wonderful.
Yeah,
You know,
it's so funny. You brought me back to some funny luggage carousel
tell
combos that
me.
I have at where people are like, they may be a little less, they may be a little more crass about their opinion of how long the luggage is taking, but it is true. People tend to connect in
Yeah,
those moments. Oh man.
totally.
So I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about communication with one another. Because I think when we travel, we all want to be our best selves and you want to be the most present that you can for those around you. But maybe sometimes that's actually kind of hard because you're trying to unwind. You're getting to that point where you're de-stressing and you're not there yet. But you had brought up the idea of the 5 different love languages to me. So I wanted to talk about how they relate to cruising and traveling and connecting with the people we love. But I think first of all, can we go over what they are? What are the 5 love languages?
Absolutely, Sherry. It's the five love languages. Love languages is one of my favorite ways to just speak. I've just kind of made it a part of my life in my practice, in my personal life, on cruises. I love the value it has because we all have our different own personalized love language. So
Mm-hmm.
there are five of them. Mr. Gary Chapman has written this beautiful book, The Five Love Languages. And the theory behind it is everyone has their own primary love language. So I'm going to run through the five. One is words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
One is acts of service. The next is receiving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
The next is quality time. And the final one is physical touch. So,
Okay.
just a quick little note on each of those, just generically.
Mm-hmm.
Words of affirmation is someone. telling you positive, just affirmations about you.
Okay.
You're so good at, thank you so much, for taking out the trash all the time. Thank you so much for always having, dinner ready. Thank you for always just being there for me. I think, someone who speaks that love language is really, their love tank is full when they hear
Ah,
things about them. So our next one would be, and sure, I want you to start thinking about what your love language
okay.
could be while I'm
I
saying
will.
all these.
Yeah, because I don't know. I've looked at them before and I really don't know, but I think I'm gonna figure it out today.
Okay, stay tuned.
Okay.
Let us know. So our next one is acts of service. So this is a really cool one. This is more so somebody providing a service for you. I know they use that service word, but we can't get
Mm-hmm.
too caught up in that. It's more like somebody helping you out with something,
Mm-hmm.
without you asking. Um, let's say if it's at home with our family, maybe somebody doing the dishes without even being asked. As a mom, that probably
Oh
hits right
yeah.
home with you,
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
it?
for sure.
Um, maybe at work, it's somebody turned your office light on for you or something, or opened up shop.
Okay.
Just doing things that may help your day be a little bit easier on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would look at that. So
Okay.
that's our acts of service. Our next one is receiving gifts. That one needs no special introduction. It's just simply when you're on, as you travel so much, it's just kind of picking up a little thing where you think of a loved one while you're traveling,
Mm-hmm.
and that person feeling love because you've thought of them, and they get to have a small token of appreciation.
Okay.
So our fourth one is quality time. And as we know, quality time is about connection with those that we love, uninterrupted. It kind of goes back
Mm.
into what I was talking about, being unplugged on a cruise.
Yeah.
It's that non-interrupted quality time with someone, doing something that person probably really enjoys. Is it playing a board game? Is it watching a movie? Is it having dinner with no cell phones present at the table? That could be someone's love language. And our final is physical touch. That one is primarily about, giving big hugs,
Mhm.
holding hands, for children, is that getting a back rub when they're upset about something. So
Oh,
that one is a big one as far as, just human connection, physical
yeah.
touch.
Different types of connection.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's our five. What do you think? Are you thinking about yours now?
Yeah, I definitely think I'm probably words of affirmation. I think
Okay.
so because I think about the others and I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I love acts of service, but sometimes I'll look at it someone and go, "Oh, well, make sure you do it this way or that way," which is terrible. It's like I
Hilarious.
can't really say. I have to be careful with that one. Although I do love it when my husband surprises me with something that he's done for me. Like it's hard to think of an example, like cleaning a little corner of the house or something, which he does all the time anyway. But I do love that. But I think my gut instinct told me it's words of affirmation, and I think that has a lot to do with maybe if you grew up in a family with lots of children where there was a struggle for attention. Not that I
Hmm.
had a lack of attention in my household, but I did have three siblings. And I wonder if sometimes some of us end up craving that a little bit more because we were sharing a spotlight as children. I don't know.
Sure. Could be.
Yeah, but it's
Could
got
be.
me
Anything's possible.
thinking about my family too though. And I think my husband is a combination of words of affirmation and definitely the quality time. And my
Okay.
son, I think, is quality time and physical touch. He's
Okay.
a hugger, a snuggler. Yeah. Interesting, though. I'm going to think more about it.
I
And
love this, Sherry. Now you're
yeah,
going to start
I'm going to
using
start
this love
thinking
language all
about
the
it.
time.
So
Yeah.
how do you find out, though? Do you just simply ask people, hey, look, these are the love languages. What do you think means the most to you? And just have a convo with them about it? I mean, they don't have to take a test, do they?
So, Sherry, I'm a therapist, so of course I have therapist friends.
Yeah.
So we talk this way all the time.
Yeah.
But for the non-therapist folk,
Yeah.
the average, person, there is this wonderful quiz online, and I believe it's lovelanguages.com. Don't quote
Okay.
me on that one, but
Okay.
there is the Love Language website, and there's a quiz you can take. There's a couples quiz, there is a for her, for him,
Oh, wow.
for children, and
Okay.
it is about 25 questions. And by the end of it, I mean, truly, I think that as you're going through the questions, you're already developing a sense of who you are. And at the
Yeah.
end, everyone's reaction is always, oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
knew that was going to be. And 25 questions, if it's multiple choice, sounds like it's going to probably be a very quick quiz.
yes, absolutely.
Uh,
But it's cool. It's good to know your love language. That's how you feel loved the most. If
mm,
your words of affirmation and Mr. Cruise Tips TV is he's quality time, you said?
I think so.
Let's say, so since we know us, we may be providing our spouse with our love language. That's the thing we've got to catch.
Hmm.
He's
Wow.
enjoying was words of affirmation. Who wouldn't?
Right. Right.
But you're not fueling his whole love tank, which is quality time.
Yeah. And you said something so critical that I think other people probably heard this loud and clear when you said it. You said with people who are craving the quality time, it's uninterrupted quality time.
Yes, exactly. And oh, I'm already thinking of three or four things that could interrupt us. The
Yeah.
dog barking, something goes on, our cell phone's pinging,
Yeah.
the microwave going off,
Sure.
you
All of it.
endless,
Yeah, the
all of
TV,
it.
whatever. The cell phone was the first one that I thought of, but
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. So how do these come into play when we're traveling and cruising, and how do we speak to people based on their love language? I feel like you could probably give us some examples.
Sure. So what I'm thinking is once we know our love language and we're more comfortable with it and we're sharing it with our family and loved ones, um, I think it would be just cool to speak to some of these while we're on a cruise because
Mm,
we go on cruises with loved ones to connect with them.
right.
There are wonderful solo travelers, and I love that. But the primary of us are going together with our people.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with a little cute list of some ideas to each love language that I'd love to share.
Oh, awesome.
I'm going to start with words of affirmation. So let's say, obviously, the first one was tailored right to you and Mr. Cruise Tips TV. But I said, you're an Mr. Cruise TV. Cruise Tips TV says you're an amazing packer for us, Sherry,
I
because
love
I
that.
know he
I
does all.
would love
Excuse
that.
me,
Yeah.
you're the packer, aren't you?
He does his own packing, like for his clothes, but
Right.
I do pack for the family. So like his toothbrush, it's not going if I don't pack it. He would if he had to, but yeah, yes. But I would love it
See,
if he said that. It would feel good to me.
it would feel good to you. That
Yeah.
is that is your direct love language. So
Yeah.
I had to. It's like I knew what was your love language already. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So some other cute examples for words of affirmation I put. Maybe when you're at a family trivia night, one of those cute events, you could give verbal compliments to your family member who is taking the team to victory. Because we all know one usually holds the whole team.
Yeah.
Like directly just giving them compliments. Hey,
Yeah.
you really did it for us tonight. And then another one I had was hearing a stranger sing the best karaoke for one of your favorite songs, maybe going up to them afterwards and to give a warm compliment.
Hmm.
Because I think people just they like to hear things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Speak to them, share with them, and maybe share a little more than you think you should. You do,
Yeah,
go that step farther.
absolutely. Yes, totally. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so
Love
that's
it.
words of affirmation.
Okay.
Uh, Pivoting over to physical touch, I wrote down holding hands down the promenade with your special
Oh,
someone.
love that. Hmm.
I do too. I mean, I think the promenade is it makes us feel kind of fancy. Like we're out at
Yes.
this, in this beautiful place. And what better connecting time than to just walk down there hand in hand?
Totally.
And I wrote, because I'm very inclusive to families too. So maybe having a group hug with your family in the morning before the teenagers run off to their news cruise
Oh,
friends.
yeah. Then you never see them for 12
You never
hours.
see them.
Oh,
So I've
yeah.
heard.
You need the
Exactly.
group hug. I love that.
Love you. Bye.
Yeah, I love you. Bye. Oh, okay. That's a good one. So these are the physical touch. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are physical touch people.
Mm-hmm.
Next is acts of service. And the first one I'm thinking is just, your spouse's morning coffee.
Little
You
things.
talk
Yeah.
frequently about that nice coffee bar.
Oh yeah.
Super important. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in the morning without them even asking, maybe you run down there real quick in your pajamas,
Mm-hmm.
um, bringing their insulated cup, and you bring it back and surprise them. Any coffee
Love
lover
it.
would love that.
Yeah. So little things. We don't have to be. You don't have to buy them a cruise for
Yeah,
acts of service.
exactly.
It can be small things that make their day.
Yes, Sherry, it's the
Mm-hmm.
teeniest things, but it just
Mm-hmm.
shows that you are thinking about them. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's the theme to all five of these, really.
Okay. Love it.
Uh, what else did I put here? I put packing your friend an extra highlighter so they can enjoy highlighting the daily schedule too.
I love that.
Super important.
Throwing something in the suitcase that you think that they might need. That's so good.
Yes, yes.
So good.
Pivoting over to quality time, having me time, but also prioritizing family time, choosing things from the schedule to plan together. So
Mm.
maybe interactive games, maybe trivia events,
Mhm.
for the mom and dad who feels love when they're with their family, all doing something together, loving and laughter.
Mhm.
I know personally, I like to bring my backgammon game.
Oh, how fun.
I love board games, love them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you wouldn't believe how many people come up to us when we're playing backgammon, like,
Yeah.
where did you get that?
Where'd you get
I'm
that?
like, well,
Oh,
I packed it.
oh,
And they're
you
like,
might
oh,
have
next
to
time.
try Holland America someday if you haven't yet. They have this thing at
Okay.
the top of the ship called the Crow's Nest, and it's like an observation lounge with floor to ceiling stacks of games. And that's what everybody does. They just go sit up there and they play games all day. It would be your idea of heaven.
Sherry, that is my
I
dream.
know you
Thank you.
you have to try Holland America. I can visualize you already on that ship. Like I could see you being on last year we did Westerdam and Eurodam back to back basically in Alaska, and you would have loved both of them. They're phenomenal, and those game rooms would have you so excited.
Beautiful. The Alaskan cruise is on my bucket list,
Good.
so I
Okay.
have to Holland America that one.
I love it. Okay, sorry for the distraction.
Thank
I
you.
I lost
No,
track of where we were. Oh, we were quality time?
we were at quality time.
Okay.
I'm about to come to our last but not least, our gift giving.
Mm,
Um, I like to, you know what I put on this list is little gifts to ourselves. Like, how fun is
mm,
it to just pick up our own little trinkets
yeah.
and goodies?
Right. Yeah,
You
why
know,
not? If that's your
why
love
not?
language too, take care of yourself a little.
Exactly. Especially
Yeah.
if that's your love language, giving yourself an extra little treat.
Mm-hmm.
I put down family, friends we are cruising with to buy. And you know what I brought too? Little tools and tech to help our cruise be extra fun. So, what I meant by that is,
Oh,
let's say we're traveling with someone whose love language is gift giving. Maybe you could, I'm going to use Mr. Tips TV as the example because he's the
okay.
tech guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you see a little something cool in the tech world that just came out and you pick it up for him and you
Oh.
surprise it for him to
Mm-hmm.
use on your next cruise.
Oh, that's a really fun idea. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. I think so too. I think that it's appreciated all the way around. It shows that you were thinking about them,
Yeah.
plus gives them a little new gadget.
Sure. Yeah. And when in doubt, maybe if you don't know somebody's love language and you're making your best guess, it's okay to pick and choose from any of these categories and just show a little extra kindness, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
nobody's going to be upset if you dip into another non primary love language.
Yes, because it's all out of the kindness of our heart.
Yeah, totally. So we talked for a moment about me time. We just barely touched on it. But I think for some of us who cruise, some people, they don't get away often and they run a little high strung type A in their normal lives. And it can be difficult to unwind on a cruise. How do we kind of focus on and schedule and make sure that we're getting that me time and that sort of inward time to really deeply relax on a cruise? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I want to touch on how there's a little stigma around the word me time.
Mm,
Some people might see it as being a little bit selfish.
hmm
However, I think that we do our best to explain that me time is so valuable. We have our own batteries. And if
Mm,
our batteries aren't full or our cups aren't full, how can we really fill anyone else's? You know?
yeah.
And I think that me time is very important in our day to day. And just hitting on cruising, especially, is, everybody has their own, excitement and to-do list and things they're excited about the cruise.
Mm,
And I think that everyone is, I'm just kind of speaking to families.
yeah.
You compromise with each other. We'll do this excursion this day, and then maybe we could do one that I'd like to another day.
Mhm.
Um, so there's a lot of compromising and a lot of, you know, activities and fun, but I think it's important that we still recharge our batteries. We don't have to
Yeah.
all day.
Hmm.
Could we find maybe an hour? And I
Okay.
think that we could, squeeze that in wherever we can. Let's be flexible. The whole cruising intention is just flexibility. And,
Yeah.
so I think that me time on a cruise, can look like anything. It's got to kind of be in tune with what you're interested in and what your thing is. It could be
Yeah.
getting a massage. It could be reading a good book on the pool deck. It could be, going on that slide over and over and over and over again that you
Mm,
love, and everyone else maybe aren't slide people. Um, it could be any solo activity. You could take a mindfulness walk around the track after dinner with yourself, just to
yeah.
kind of take some breaths and smell the salt in the air. And
I love that. That sounds really rejuvenating and good. I love that one.
I was almost envisioning that right
Yeah.
now, that I
Oh,
was on that
sounds
cruise deck
great.
with that track.
Yeah, and it give you a little reinvigoration to keep going for the rest of the evening too. I love that.
Totally.
So I think something you said that really resonated with me that I want to repeat to people in case they didn't hear it is, you know, the stigma of me time and taking some time to pamper yourself a bit. If you have trouble releasing that, being on a cruise is maybe a time to try to carve out some time where you don't have that guilt and you don't have that stigma associated with it. And of course, I'm sure there's people who are like on the other side of the spectrum of this too. There's people who are like, I'm on a vacation. I'm not going to see my kids for a week. They're going to run wild. And they're really on the other side of it. But then there's those of us who are maybe a little bit more overly conscientious about feeling like you're being selfish. And I think that what we're saying is give yourself permission to carve out some time for yourself and that is not selfish.
Yes, Sherry, beautifully put. Giving ourselves permission to just,
Yeah.
fill our cup, fill our
Okay.
cup.
Fill your cup.
And yeah,
Charge the
absolutely.
battery, like you said. I love that. That's a good analogy too when you think about the battery, is that it can die, it can deplete.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when we're trying to do 20 things in the day. How about we hit 18 of those and be okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah. And then take that extra time to do something soft and gentle and yeah. Yeah. Like for me, it'd just be a hot bath, right? It
Love
doesn't
it.
have to be a
See?
big thing.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's free for the most part.
Trying to think what I would like for me time. I am
Yeah.
absolutely a girl who's finding probably a nice little patch of shade, which is tough on a cruise. I'm
Yeah.
by the pool deck, but a patch of shade with my Kindle, just reading a book,
Yes.
just feeling the air.
This is why I'm getting the Alaska vibes from you, Maggie.
Oh,
You need to go to
really?
Alaska. Yeah, this you are like it's in your DNA. You got to
Wow.
do it. You got to do it. Alaska's all about like a shady nook and you can bundle up and wear your outerwear the whole time. Nobody's getting sunburned for the most part, right?
Gary, I will pin this and I will be looking that up
I'm
today.
telling you, girl.
I love it.
So we talked earlier too a little bit about gratitude journaling, and I think some people are like, "Okay, that's too woo woo for me." Even I sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I want to start my day that way. But then there's times when if I just write down a couple things in the morning that I'm grateful for, I see a huge impact on my mental health for the day. What is gratitude journaling have to do with cruising, and why do you think it can be a good tool for people?
Well, I think, and Sherry, you're totally not alone. I think that, everyone has their own way of gratitude journaling. And it's not always pencil and paper,
Oh,
truly.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
It is, how about this, for example? It could be for those that aren't super traditional with a journal, it could be simply being at dinner with the family and just going around and talking about your favorite things for the day.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
form of gratitude
I
journaling.
didn't think about that. Like just verbally recounting some things. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's more of the traditional list. I love journaling. I bring my journal on vacation, and
Hmm.
I'm not super strict with it. If I get to it, I get to it.
Yeah.
If not, I might just jot a couple things down. But I do keep a actual gratitude journal, and it's important to, even though we have these busy lives and busy vacations, there's just so much good in our days, even on the
Hmm.
worst day.
Yeah.
There's still good. And I think that that's what we need to remember. And I think that
Mm.
whatever form you like to take, I think it's just, you need to just be thinking of positive things and thinking of the fun you're having and, not getting too strict with it,
Sure.
the other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. It's meant to be. I think what you're saying is it's meant to be something that's loose and there when you need it. And it doesn't need to be this rigid, defined thing where you open up a notebook and you write for 26 minutes before you go outside and step in the grass and do all this other stuff, right? That not
Yes.
all of us realistically do all of these things. But it's like, if you think of it as more, just more like a mindset and bringing gratitude sort of forward in your life in some
Yes.
way, you're still taking part in that.
Absolutely. Yes. And truly, most of us are not going to spend 26 minutes on the cruise
Yeah.
writing in our journals. We're going to be running out there as quick as we can to
Yeah.
get the best spot on the pool deck.
I love it. That's such a great point. Oh my gosh. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with people about cruising and mental health and how it all ties together?
Well, I think that all in all, I think our mental health is super important. It's super important to talk about. It's super important to be mindful of. And when it comes to cruising, I think that cruising just sets us up for just a carefree vacation, just a very flexible, everything's always available for you. When it comes to things that may go wrong, I
Mm-hmm.
think that cruising provides just a lot of stability for us. We know what to expect,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of transparency. And I think that it's okay to not have a good day. It's
Ah,
as simple
interesting.
as that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As simple as that, Sherry. And I think that it's okay to not have a good, activity. Maybe one
Mm-hmm.
of the activities went a little bit different than you expected.
Mm-hmm.
We look at our planner, which now they're on our phones, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm such a
Yeah.
paper and pencil girl. I
Me
I
too.
still go get the
The
schedules
newsletter.
printed out.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yes,
I love those too.
yes. Because
Mm-hmm.
because Sherry, when I first started listening to your YouTube videos, actually
Mm-hmm.
8, 9 years ago, your first tip that I loved was bringing a highlighter
Yeah.
everywhere.
Just a funny little thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Oh,
there's something about getting to pick those things out during the day. So,
yeah. Yeah.
anyways, I think all in all, if cruising isn't your, travel form of travel, I encourage everyone to try it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that you'd be surprised. I mean, I was,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
here I am booking 2 to 3 a year
Oh,
just
I
to
love
unplug
it.
and unwind.
Yeah, it is an easy way though. You're so right. I think that you brought up a good point is that maybe if you are looking for your days to be a little more planned for you and to have more ease than a lot of vacations or a lot of modes of travel provide. It is so true. The cruise lines are going to do what they can, you know, to make it so that you can unwind and enjoy your family in that uninterrupted way as much as possible. And you're so right. Things will go wrong. They absolutely will. But it's okay to tell yourself, okay, that activity, like you said, I had a bad day. I had a bad activity. But that doesn't mean the whole thing is blown. It doesn't mean you did a bad job planning. It doesn't mean we don't have to assign meaning to it. It is what it is. Move on. Start fresh, right?
Yes, and I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
We
okay.
just we need to just go get, a fresh orange juice from the juice bar and
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
take a breath.
exactly.
That's it.
Yes, exactly. I love it. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. And before we wrap up, I'd love to go through our traditional rapid fire questions so that people can get to
Sure.
know you a little bit better. So, first thing that comes to your mind, on some of them, it might be like a factual thing, and others, it might be more of an opinion. But cruise line you've sailed with the most.
That would be Royal Caribbean, hands down. After going on a different variety of cruise lines, Royal just had their food choices have always just been
Mm-hmm.
far superior, in my
Works for
opinion.
you. The food, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. I like it. So
yeah,
that's, you found that comfort zone. I love it.
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
All right. Balcony, inside, or something else?
Inside,
All right.
inside.
Yep.
I am very classic with we don't spend too much time in our rooms,
Yep.
and I would love to spend my money elsewhere
Sure. And cruise more.
and cruise more. Exactly. I could
Awesome.
get 3 cruises for the price of a balcony
You
sometimes.
really can. You really can. I love it. Okay. What's the first thing you do when you board a ship?
Oh, well, um, prior cruiser, I used to run right to the spa and get entered in the raffle.
Ooh.
That was like I was always like I would love to win that,
Mhm.
massage. Love it. But current times, thanks to you and your tips, I wear my swimsuit under my embarkation
Really?
outfit and I'm
Do
going in the pool because nobody's in there. It's the best.
it is the best, and it's a lot cheaper than the spa treatment.
It's way cheaper than the spa treatment. And ask me how many times I've won the spa raffle,
Right. No,
Sherry.
yeah, no. They're just there to get your name on the list and like try to get you to buy something.
Yes,
That's
exactly, which
so
is
funny.
lovely. The ambiance is lovely. The
Yeah.
smells and the aura is of lovely in the spa, but
Yeah.
I am having so much fun in that pool.
I love it. So you take it to the next level. Not only does Maggie pack the swimsuit, she wears the dang thing and
Oh, I
gets
wear the
right.
dang thing.
I love this.
Waste no time.
I love this. This is fantastic. Oh my gosh. Okay, Caribbean or Alaska? I think we haven't done Alaska yet, right?
No,
Okay.
you already know the answer. Caribbean for now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I also love Caribbean because I've done it a dozen times and
Yeah.
it's comfortable for me. It's my
Yeah.
comfort place.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I love it.
Food, the music, it's all the bomb.
It's all fun. It's a getaway
Mhm.
too. What's your
It is.
dream cruise destination, Maggie?
Ooh, so again, hearing from you two, Asia.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard
Oh
nothing but the
gosh.
most fantastic things from both of you.
Yeah.
And I just, it's like it seems like it's just a cruise like no other.
Yeah. For sure. Life altering. I think you'd love that too.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too, but that one's going to take a little more planning and a little more saving up,
Yeah.
which we're working on.
I love it. So
Yeah, me too.
what's your drink of choice on a cruise? I heard you say juice bar. You're my husband loves that too. He's major juice bar guy. What do you
Love
like?
it. I love it. I always get is it the bubbles package
Oh
with
yeah.
the
Cheers,
uh,
bubbles, whatever they have on Royal.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I always get that because
Oh yeah, the soda
I'm not
package.
too much of a drinker, but I
Uh-huh.
but I will enjoy a cocktail. I like what's the one with the cute it's like a pharmacy type
Oh,
bar.
the Alchemy bar on
Yes.
Carnival? Oh
Yes.
yeah. I love
That
that.
was a really fun one. It was just different. It was
Mm-hmm.
unique.
Mm-hmm.
These beautiful artworks in a cocktail.
Yes. I love the Alchemy bar too. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What's the best shore excursion you've ever done?
So the one that sticks out the most, Sherry, is I did this one in one of the Caribbean spots where it was four-wheeling, zip lining, and river tubing all in one, which
Ooh.
sounds like a lot,
Wow.
but it was just three of the most best times of my life.
Wow.
And fun fact, I have a big fear of heights. And
Mm.
so when I was on that zip line, I think that's the first one we did. I First of all, I contemplated even walking up the stairs. But when I got there and I jumped off of it, I started screaming out of fear, which quickly turned to screaming out of like this is the best time of my life.
No way.
So I conquered a fear right then, and
Yeah.
it's been amazing ever since.
Wow. I think it's cool that you did that in the beginning of the excursion too, so that then it wasn't like you had this anticipation leading up to it, right? That's
Yes, that's a good way to
cool.
look at it. I never even thought that. That was pure coincidental.
Yeah. And then you can really enjoy the tubing and the four wheels. So now you don't have the fear anymore?
No,
Whoa.
zip
Wow.
lining, anything to do with that is gone. All
Whoa.
thanks to that.
That's
I know.
wild. That's
I
great.
know.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
something about just kind of just getting up and trying it.
Yeah. Facing
That's
that fear.
powerful.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. What's one thing you'd like to see added to cruise ships?
So what comes to mind might sound a little silly. However, it kind of speaks to my creative heart, so to say. I would love for there to be some sort of a door decorating kit that you could
Oh,
pre-purchase.
how fun.
Because, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. On all the cruises I go to, I usually spend one of the evenings, like after dinner or something, walking down the halls and enjoying everyone's creativity.
Yeah.
And I just think, there's been times where I get to the cruise and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot all the door decorations.
Yeah.
So if we could like pre-select some things and it could just be in our stateroom, I would love that.
That's actually really smart though, because if you think about it, the cruise lines could make it a profitable move. They sell birthday decorations and everything for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm sure
I
that they
know.
could sell door decoration kits that also meet their safety standards for a little
Yes.
and make money. That is genius. But
Yes.
Mm.
you need to trademark this before somebody else does.
I think it would be a hit
Yeah,
because
it
yes,
would.
we do the birthday decoration. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care how much really they cost.
Yeah.
It's all about a convenience thing for us.
Yeah. Sure.
We live in a world of convenience
And
and
cruisers like convenience.
we love
We do.
convenience.
We do.
We all do.
We like ease.
So, yes.
I
Yes.
love it. Okay, you can finish this sentence. When I'm not cruising, I'm blank.
Oh, goodness. I am probably doing something in my community. I love my
Mm,
community. I'm volunteering. I'm um, trying a new local restaurant.
yeah.
I'm chatting up the cashier at the grocery store. I'm a very social butterfly and I
Aw,
love people.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, Maggie, I am so thankful that we got to have this conversation today. Where can our community find you if they want to see who the heck Maggie is?
Well, I don't have any social media at the moment, but you can find me. My professional website is on Psychology Today. If you just Google Maggie Rich Psychology Today, you will find me and could put a face to the name.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maggie, for having this conversation with me and for bringing some awareness around these topics, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month. And I hope that we could do this again someday.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thanks for listening to Cruise Tips TV Unplugged. If you like our show and want to know more, check us out at CruiseTipsTV.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram by searching Cruise Tips TV. We'd love if you'd leave us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast, subscribe to the show, and tune in next week. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas.